What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Plant Movement Podcast. On today's episode, we interview John with Green Foundry that brings hardscape supplies to the table, lighting, barbecues, fire pits, to anyone that's in the hardscape space. Takes it amongst himself to do his due diligence and help people plan out what they're going to be needing, and just so much value that this guy brings. Listen to today's episode. It is a banger. I'm excited and cannot wait for you guys to listen to it. And just for a disclaimer, my audio was not good. We did this through Zoom, so the first 30 minutes was off. His audio was great. At the end of the day, you need to listen to what he brings to the table. And I know a lot of you, the second this episode is done, you're going to want to reach out to John because he's an extension of what you're doing. And I'm just excited and pumped for this episode. Let's go, John. Bring the fire, baby.
Are you ready to grow? The Plant Movement with Willie Rodriguez of A's Ornamental Nursery in sunny South Florida is the podcast for those in the nursery business. Garden centers, landscapers, power growers, and plant enthusiasts. Willie is a passionate leader in the plant movement and has helped others grow their business into multi-million-dollar companies. This show will save you time, money, and headaches through top-notch education and by connecting you to experts in the industry. Let's grow. Here's your host, Willie Rodriguez.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Plant Movement Podcast. I'm your host, Willie Rodriguez, and like always, we always have special guests on, bringing you fire, connecting professionals in the industry. And today we have someone that a lot of you guys are going to want to tune into this episode because the guy brings something to the table a little different than if you're into hardscapes, landscaping, you're going to want to listen to this episode. Or if you're a garden center, want to branch out and start different streams and bringing things in. We have John with us today from Green Foundry. How are you doing, John?
Excellent, my friend. Very, very good. Thank you so much. Very excited to be here today. Really looking forward to dive into this with you.
Yes. So where are you at right now? Because you're not local down here in South Florida. Where are you at today?
So today I'm actually based out of just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So our company is actually based in Philadelphia. But I am in charge and control the sales down here into Charlotte area and down South Florida, Texas, a little bit of everything.
A bit of everything. And what do you guys specialize in?
So we're a business-to-business wholesale distributor of outdoor living products. So I know that sounds like a lot, but basically I like to kind of make it simple. I'm a simple kind of person in that sense. All the lipstick, all the makeup, all the fun stuff in the backyard, outdoor living space. So it can be commercial, residential, crosses both areas. But anything that's like that fun stuff, your barbecues, your water features, your lighting, and your fire features. Those are our main elements, specifically lighting and fire. We really have a passion for outdoor low voltage lighting and as well as fire features. In the past 5 years, the industry has really moved towards making these outdoor living spaces as a continuation of the indoor living space. So for us, we really love outdoor living, and fire and light seem to be where our ticket is.
That's super cool. Not so many people do what you guys do. I know your industry's big, but us on our side, or let's say installers, landscapers, there's so many products that you just named that are a necessity and people are looking for. And they're looking for people that come through. They're looking for people that have good products. Talk to me about some of your products and where you guys get them, made in China, made in the US. Talk to me about that.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. So I just want to let you know I've been on a few of these things and I like your questions right out the gate are different. So I'm really happy it's fresh. Totally fresh. So what we do, and what I think any good company does, is we sample the products from the manufacturers that we like as past installers, as consumers, and then we kind of test them out and then we bring them on board. So like for us, it's not like coming in and saying, here's 3 brands, good, better, best. This one's on sale this week. That one's on sale that week. That's not our mode. We're like, well, you need this beautiful piece of plant material that's a one-off because we need this specific brand or style to look that way for design. So we look at it like the same way with lights. All right, this light is going to do a specific job in this specific application. And tomorrow, it might be a different light from a different manufacturer. Like, we just want our designs to look fire. Like, we just want to be part of that amazing projects. That's really our passion. My boss and myself and our office manager are all passionate about what we do, we love it. We've all had other careers and all have come back to this, career. So, this space, I guess, and really are passionate about the lighting and the fire for sure.
So if a landscaper got a big installer doing front to back, all redone, they can what, send you the plans and tell you, hey, I need lights that shine, 90-degree angles. I need 100-foot exposure of light. How many lights do I need? I'm using this color stone down at the bottom, or this color mulch, or I'm using these flowers, or this whatever. This is the color of the house, and you guys can give them product or recommend products that'll work exactly for what they need. You can even cut costs for them as well, because now I don't know, I see so much potential. It's like having someone on board is basically what I heard you say.
And that is exactly it, Willie. And I appreciate you saying that, because that really is our company's motto. We came out of a necessity. So my boss started this company, just a little backtrack, about 6 years ago now. And I've been with him about 4 years. But mind you, we've been friends for 35 out of 43 years of my life. So we've known each other a really long time. And he came to me with this idea, and I was at a different place in my life. And he was like, what do you think about this and that? And as a businessman, I've always been, have a business degree. I've always worked in customer service. I was like, I like that a lot. My dad was an installer. He's an immigrant. My mom's an immigrant. So like I saw that side and I understood it. I did summers with him. He installed pools. So I saw a lot of this stuff. So I was like, I like your idea. I'm like, I like what you're doing. He's like, look, man, my dad, he's a design build, 42 years in Jersey. And I was helping him, and I'd go to Site One, I'd go to Ewing Irrigation, I'd go to Home Depot, and there wasn't anyone that knew lighting or fire. And that's what I like. He goes, so I want to bring it to them. He goes, no brick and mortar. We're going to do everything through warehousing and shipping, through our web of connections. He goes, and we're just going to bring them extra service. We'll help them with design. We'll help them with fixer selection. We'll help them with pricing, all the things you just said. So like, I have customers that sometimes they're buying 3, 4, 500 fixtures at a clip for one job. They're going to be getting, into numbers that are not for the common install. So they're going to be looking at different brands of fixtures, styles of fixtures, because it might be a commercial job. So that's not going to always translate to the same thing as the guy who's doing a couple up lights and some path lights for their house. So I might need a different grade of fixture because they're in Miami versus Ohio versus New Jersey versus Cali. So, we really try to, find the best products specifically with lighting and fire, and just drive it in, be part of your team. Like I tell everyone, you don't have to pay workman's comp, but I work for you.
Yeah. No, but that right there separates, it separates you from everyone else, from Home Depot, from Lowe's, from all those places, because there's not a professional there. The guy that works there, they give him some training, but it ain't the training that you guys have. And then the fact that you can, you have a team member, basically, you have an extension of your team by using you guys, that you guys know everything under the sun when it comes to the products that you guys sell, and how to service your customers, allowing them to customize, everything, and basically just send you an order. Hey, I need these type of lights, What do you think for this? What do you think for that? And now you can fill out, all the rest of the questions for them. You can give them an answer to. Hey, we got these lights that work for this. There's these different brands that have it. This is the one that has the color you're looking for, and you can custom make everything. That right there is priceless, and that comes from the customer service side of your background, of just wanting to do things right, and your boss's background. Customer service is truly one of the ways to propel yourself forward, and you got to put yourself in your customer's shoes, and that's something that you guys have done. You guys have figured out what your customers want and need, and you've figured out how to service them by understanding the products that you sell and having an answer for every question. And if you don't have the answer, you'll go find it for them, because entrepreneurs, running a business, there's a lot going on. And imagine right now, guys, you're listening, you're a hardscaper, and you get an install, and it's $100,000 in lights, let's say that you have to purchase. And now you got to start. Where do I go? Do I go to how about we jump on Alibaba and get them for 5 cents? You got to really think, and it's hard when you're operating on an existing business. How are you even going to think?
Yeah.
lights. You know, you might Google something, take a couple screenshots, save it to favorites. But
Yeah, well, so that's a big part, and that's yeah. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's a big part. I really appreciate that. Again, you're really nailing these topics because that's what I am like right now. While we were waiting to tune up the internet and get us all set up, that's what my day is like. I get a text message. My guy's in Tennessee, Johnny. Hey man, this is what I'm doing. I forgot. She want lights. What do we do? And then I shoot him some pictures. I'm like, hey, I got this. I got this. My guy in Connecticut did it like this. This is what it looks like. What do you think about that? He's like, all right, send me 2 and 2. I'll approve the estimate. Boom. I call the office manager. She jumps on the horn. She punches it in for me because I'm like busy. She knew I was getting on the podcast. So like we work as a team. Like it's no like sales is sales, but you got to work as a team, like the customer service, it goes from top to bottom. So she's a salaried position, but she knows if she doesn't hold her end of what I need her to do customer service wise, then I don't get to keep bringing in more. And if I don't bring in more, she's not going to get a salary raise because she's based off of the company's total. So yes, sales is important, but we don't look at it as like, what's your sales goal? We have goals. We have, high goals for us as a company. But we don't look at it like that. It's like, what can we do to service this person right now in front of us? Like what's the best thing to get them? And how are they going to leave and think about us for that next interaction? Was that a positive interaction? Even if it was something as simple as, hey, I need one lamp because one went out from a job 6 months ago. Okay, I want that to be the $100,000 purchase is the same thing as the $9 purchase,
no, there's a lot that you just said that I can counteract on. But
Yeah.
and so real quick, you do this for no extra charge.
So 99.9% of the time, there is no additional charge. This is part of our business model. We want to be the resource. Like we want you to count on us. I personally take pride in that. And I am part of that team. All my contractors, I know by first name. I know them, their company name. I know the projects they're working on. I'm following them on Instagram, on social media constantly. I know so that I'm in tune with they don't have to tell me anything. They call me and I'm already like, I already saw that. I know what you're thinking. What about this? What about that? This is just who I am as a person. Now, not everyone's going to be that way, but our business and our business model, that's how we look at it. Like Saturdays, Sundays, it doesn't matter. It's a free service. As long as you're buying product from us, if you're just calling in and then next thing you know, I see these products coming up, and it's like, oh, well, I know there's a competitor down the road and he's beating you on price by, okay, but did he do all this stuff to get you to that? So next time, let him do all of those things as well. So there's got to be like a little give and take. Like you said, know your worth. I think that's number one with your company as well. And that's why I love your content because you're giving that value. Hey, this is this plant. This is what I got. This is what it is. You're very transparent. That's how I am. You decide. You're the installer. I'm just giving you the data that I have for you to then decide and say, okay, this is how I'm going to go with it.
I love that. So you guys are wholesalers. So people have you're flipping this product is what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so like what you were saying, back to what you were saying, there's people that can get things done for cheaper, but you're limited to the experience. You're limited to what you can extract from somebody because people that are selling things cheap, they normally don't have the know-how or they can't come through like you will. I feel like
there's no room for frills. My boss always says it's the Four Seasons Hotel. It's the Four Seasons Hotel is how we want to be looked at. Everyone knows Four Seasons around the world. They never say no because they're hitting you hard for staying there. So you could ask, you haven't smoked a cigarette in 20 years. And you're like, can you get me a Marlboro Red? They come out with that Marlboro Red and light it for you because they know you just paid 3 G's a night, 4 G's a night to stay there. So it's the same concept. Like you said, that's kind of, the lower level, lowest price guy, they're going to jump to the next person when they're the lowest price. And then the person is the lowest price, they can't afford to spend that extra minute with you when there's a problem, when there's issues, when there's no issues and help you sell it. So like a lot of my customer base are new contractors. I just seem to like lean on that. Like they seem to come to me, like guys that are owner operators, not necessarily new, but owner operators. So that's the value. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, it's not the bottom price. It's got to be something else.
I feel like if people, like anyone that starts working with you, they're gonna stick with you because what? So this is something I see as well. Like in my business, you bring so much value that it's priceless. You can't put a price tag on. So if they leave to go save a quarter, not saying that you guys' products are expensive, but I'm saying, let's say they can get it a quarter cheaper and whatever, they're gonna save whatever it is. They're not gonna get you, you know, and you is something that is worth. There's no dollar amount on it. You can't put a dollar amount on your knowledge, your experience, what the way you come through, and the way you can just they can send you something and you can design it, you can create it. Like that is priceless. You're basically like AI, right?
Yeah.
With Chat GBT for the life.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Johnny AI.
Also, before we jump into any other topics, what we've covered so far, guys, is for installers. Okay, but you also can sell to people that want to sell the product. Let's say like a garden center or like a hardware store, something like that. Do you guys do that? And do you have displays? Do you guys have displays that someone can get to have it there? Also, I want to touch on you coming out because you said that you do most stuff 99.9%, but I know you do go out and fly around the country. So I would like to
Yep.
those two things before I forget.
Sure. Yeah. So another part of our business, the way we kind of try to, generate revenue is through hardscape, landscape, green industry redistribution. Whether you're a paver house, a plant center as yourself, anyone who's selling any of these materials that are going in these outdoor living spaces. So what we do is, since we offer 30 different lines, there's a few of the lines that we offer that have value to be redistributed. So if you're familiar with the distribution model, there's a manufacturer. Most manufacturers don't distribute their own product. That's just fact, especially in our industry. They just don't. If they do, they're kind of outliers. There's few. Then typically there's either agencies or, as us, redistributors, wholesale distributors, who will then distribute the product. Now we have the opportunity to distribute it any way we choose. So one way we choose to go to market is direct to the installer or the commercial business. So that's someone we will work with: restaurants, hotels, things of that nature. It doesn't have to be a contractor. They usually contract their own contracts. That's a whole nother world, but we do get involved in that. What happens is, with these hardscape dealers, there's a couple of the brands, like I said, that leaves a little bit more room for additional distribution. So if you're selling plant material, pavers, chemicals, shovels, anything related with this, and you want to add another line of revenue to your business, we come in and we say, okay, this is one of the brands we think work for you. And if you're interested, we work a redistribution deal, whereas your team will get personally educated by me monthly, quarterly, Zoom, in person. That's to get set up. You will take your own stocking and you'll have access to everything, but you'll have your key items that we know sell, right? So we're going to set you up for success, because obviously your success is our success in that sense. And then on top of that, what we'll do is we'll come out and we'll do a 101 education for your contractors. So if you're new in the area, let's say like on the outskirts of where you're at, right? There's stuff is developing like crazy, right? In Florida, it's going nuts. But a contractor to drive 40 minutes one way to come to the city center for plants, or to out to Homestead for plants, might not be conducive every day. So there's these little pop-ups that are opening up. So let's say someone opens up and they want to sell that. Well, we'll come in and teach their contractors 101. So we'll do a day of that. We'll do a day of counter sales. Well, I'll just sit there and talk lighting with the contractors as they come in. They're buying their gravel, they're buying their mulch. Hey, are you doing lighting on that job? Oh, I see you bought pavers. Are you doing undercap hardscape lights? Oh, you got that palm? You got a couple accent lights for that? Like, just kind of teaching the staff through just watching, because to me, that's the best way to learn this stuff is hands-on experience, seeing how you interact with it. So I know there's a lot there to uncover from what I said, but basically we do redistribution through these avenues for sure. And it's definitely a work in progress. Been doing it for about 4 years now. We're up to 6 different redistribution houses, most of them in the Northeast. Yeah, just really, really, really good times with that.
So let me paint out pictures. So I'm a garden center. I implemented this. You guys came and I'm starting to pump stuff. I can also tell the customers that anything they need, I can get it. Okay. Correct. Right. I'm a landscaper. I just landed $150,000 light install and I send you this. What is the turnaround time that distributors or redistributors can expect to get the product, and can you deliver the product to their clients?
So a little bit of both there. Yeah. So with that conversation, whoever that redistributor is, when we settle on a brand, depending on which of the 2 brands, because there's basically 2 brands that you would have margin with, right? Margin is the key, is the word we're all looking for, some sort of margin, some points. So there'd be kind of like 2 brands there. And then we would settle in on those key products, which would get you extended margins on those key products. But let's say some of those products on that large scale project is out of that scope. You'd still have room there, wouldn't be as much, but because those brands have good inventory, that's why we allow those 2 brands as some of those brands that are offered through our redistributorship. They have factories in Georgia, New York, Michigan, Cali. So when product needs to come in, we get it quick. So if we really don't have it in our warehouse, typically we're shipping anywhere in the US 3 to 4 days. Most of the stuff is 2-day. We do everything ground. It really does depend on quantity. So like a large project like that, which we've been a part of, sometimes that'll be palletized and we'll send it freight, and you'll get like 3 large pallets on freight, 4 pallets of something like that. So it all depends. Big thing with us is we treat everybody individually. So like if you're like, hey, I'm a distributor and I'm selling 100,000, a week, and you're, I'm going to treat you really well. But the distributor that needs that little extra support, I'm going to keep giving them that support because I want them to be that $100,000 person, not that you're not going to get the support at the higher level, but you'll get other things. You're not going to need the same support. You might be like, look, I need 15 products, not 10. I'm blowing through them. I need better margins on 15 items. Hey, I'm willing to take in 100K of inventory at the beginning of every year. So I need better margins on this many items. Okay, sure. No problem. We don't look at it like that, especially with our contractors. Even still, I have a guy who's been with us 5 years. He's by far blows anybody else away. His totals and spending. When he needs something, we take care of him. But the guy who's just starting, does 2 jobs with me, I still take care of him too, because we want them to get there. We don't leave anybody behind. That's a big thing for us.
That's a good way of explaining it. I like that. And the fact that you could be you could be a landscaper that is starting to want to get into hardscape because you see other people doing it and you feel that you can tackle it. And you call John and say, hey, John, hey, I heard the podcast. I only need 10 lights. But can you guide me on what lights to get? I went to Home Depot. No one knew. And I don't know. I feel like the lights at Home Depot aren't up to par with longevity, lasting 5 years or 10 years, with good LED bulbs and the right products. And I really want to blow my customer away. Can you help me out? And that's something that you would do.
Yeah, 100%. I do that on a daily basis. So sometimes I do that 6, 7 times a day. Like that is what I live for. I make the joke a lot, like, hey, I'm waiting for my phone to ring so I could go to work. Like I need the work to come to me. Like, I have stuff to do on a daily, like we all do. Like you said, we wear many hats. We're a small business. So I'm doing, a little bit of everything. But I love waking up in the morning and having 3 or 4 emails from a guy in Cali or Iowa who's a little bit different in time, or Texas, so that when I get up and I'm 5:30, 6 o'clock punching them emails, they're sleeping, they wake up, it's already ready to go. To me, that gives me something to do. Now that means I don't got to just get on and cold call someone or do the numbers. Now I get to actually use my what I feel I'm good at, my brain, my design, my willingness to help, like, my energy. That's where I feel like I really thrive. So yeah, I love that all day long, Willie.
That's exciting. It's exciting waking up and not knowing what is going to get thrown your way. And then having a positive attitude like you do and wanting to help and wanting to teach and inspire and stuff like that and just giving people opportunities, teaching them, about what you guys do and how you can help them. Like, that's crazy, man. You never know what you're going to get every second. So, John, one thing I wanted to ask you was in regards to you flying out. I want to know about that. I know you were in Miami not too long ago. You got a group of landscapers that were interested in the products that you guys sell, and you actually flew over here. Talk to me about that.
So yeah, at times I will go out and seek my next partner, I guess is what I like to call you guys. When I say you guys and gals, I mean contractors, installers. So there was a couple fellas that through social media, kind of over the previous 2 years, we made a friendship, I guess you would say. It was a lot of common things, not only work related, really more personal stuff that they share, and I kind of follow along in the journey. So when I was down here on some family time, actually took some time out to come and meet with these fellas. And then at the same time, I told one of the manufacturers that I thought would be a good fit for them, who is also located in Southwest Florida or Southeast Florida. So he also met up with us. So I'm very much a put people together, like, how I can connect the dots. As I said to you a couple months back when we talked, if all goes well and you and I need to meet in person for something, let's say down the road, I'd send one of my reps first, let them kind of get you acclimated some items. With Zoom nowadays, you do so much this way. And then when it comes time to meet in person, I'm a big in person. That's like big for me. I need to see someone. That's how I build my relationships, my trust. I'm old school like that for sure. Like I need to shake someone's hand and see how they treat the other people around them and the people they're working with, because that's important for me.
Oh, it's 100% important. The fact that you take time to do it, especially if you're on a vacation trip with a family, you took time to do it. It shows dedication. It shows what you get when you reach out. I see you as such a valuable person for anyone that's installing this stuff, purchasing this stuff. I don't know why anybody would go back to the traditional, let's go to Home Depot, let's go to Lowe's. Because one, I feel like the product line is completely different than what's available. And if you buy it online, you got to wait regardless for it to get shipped. And you're not going to get that one-on-one customer service person that can really attend to you, that is priceless. There's no price, like I said, there's no price you can put on someone that is willing to extend themselves and give you knowledge and teach you or just help guide you. I know it's for your best interest of the business, but a lot of people don't look out for the best interest of the business. They think it's just money. They think it's an invoice, getting paid, and that's what's in the best interest for the business, but it's not. It's doing so much more. And then in a space that's so competitive, like I know you guys are in a competitive space.
Yeah.
You
very competitive.
Very competitive. You want to do something and you have to do something that the other guy doesn't do, and then listening to your customers, listening to what they need, and then working around that and being able to service them in ways that does that. That allows you guys to continue growing and allows you to one up the person next to you, the next guy on the list. It's not always the money. There's a lot of people out there that they're not even looking at the price tag. What they're looking at is how can I get this done effectively? How can I get that good quality product that's going to last? How can I get that fire pit that's not going to be clogged every time they go to turn it on, or match the rock or anything? Where do you start? You start here with the Green Foundry.
Yeah.
You hit up John. That's the perfect place to start, because now you're 100 steps ahead of anyone else you call, because they're not going to have it like this. And the good thing is that you train the people that are redistributing what you're selling, so they can reach out to them, because I know that there's going to be connections made with your customers that they'll have the experience over time, and they'll just be able to answer the questions just like you would, let's say, so to speak. But they also have you. So if you're redistributing this stuff, you have a garden center, you put this up and you start getting inquiries, all you got to do is call John. It's that simple. John, well, we're going to make 4 Johns. to be able to answer all the questions. but but
Well, no,
that's
and
priceless.
my wife says that, and my wife says that to me. It's funny, the segue there, because my wife says that to me. She's like, because we pick up Saturday, Sunday when it's convenient. Like, I don't ever inconvenience my family life. I've done that for work for someone else. Even though I work for someone else, I work for myself. I've always taken it that way. So I when it's necessary, I take the call, whether it's dinner time, whether it's breakfast time, whether it's Sunday. I take the call if necessary. If not necessary, it can wait. But I think that's what's going to set me apart, is that I'm willing to make that extra effort. It's like a child. You have to nurture it from the beginning, like a plant, and feed it and give it what it needs. And it's going to give it back to you tenfold if you do that. And I've noticed that in just a few key customers that really trusted me from the beginning on my journey here. I've grown 10x with them easily in 3 years, and to say that, I would never have guessed that or thought that or even believed that that was possible. But it all comes down to that customer service. It's just really sticking to your word, standing behind your word, your product, knowing what you know, and not being afraid to say you don't know something, but I'm going to work twice as hard as the next guy to find that out for you and get you what you need. That's a big part of what we do, is that.
No, and not having an ego, which is what you basically described there, is something too. You can't be a know-it-all, because none of us are. And the ones that are a know-it-all, the ones that they get stuck, pinned up against the wall. You can't have an ego, and customer service is really what can really help you stand out. Even if you're selling the same product as the guy next door, the customer service, and that's something that you bring to the table tenfold, and you really capitalize on it. And it screams, customer service screams. When you filled out the questionnaire, we see you put customer service, customer service, customer service, because you know how important that is, and how that allows you to open doors that if you didn't have that customer service, you wouldn't be, the guy that everyone reaches out to. So the fact that you've been able to create that for the company, for yourself, and just for everyone is great. I have one question that is aside from this, but I feel like I can ask you this. So you are a person that works for a company that is an overachiever. You're trying to go above and beyond, not just for yourself, for your customers, but also for the whole as a whole, which is your boss and everything, that you guys are creating and building, but your place, that you're an employee there. So basically, I would categorize you as an entrepreneur. What do you have to say in regards to entrepreneurs, or people that work at a place that have just a negative attitude towards, let's say, everything as a whole? They're like, man, I'm not gonna pick up that call or call this guy
Willie,
because my boss. Hold on, let me
Willie,
finish.
I could go on for days.
Because my boss is gonna make all the money, I'm not gonna make anything, and just that negative outlook. Please talk to me about what you've learned being an entrepreneur that goes, and is a hustler. What has that done for you, and what has that done for the team?
Okay. So I'm laughing, and you can see in my eyes, this is a very, very recent topic, and a daily topic I have with friends, peers, colleagues, the mailman. Even I'm friends with everybody. I could talk to a brick wall, so I've become friendly with everyone. But so kind of going a little back on my mentality and where it came from and why I'm that way. I've always been that way as a child. I've always been very inquisitive. Always wanted to be in the mix, as they say. Always wanted to be with the older kids. Always wanted to do more, try more, experiment, adventurous. Always into all that stuff. I've always been into independence, not having someone hover over me. But I've always also been really well as working with others, understanding if they understood my strengths and allowed me to exceed, I always did well with allowing them to, succeed with their strengths. And I think that's, really important. But a lot of that took time for me. Like most of us, we're young and full of piss and vinegar, as they say, and we think we know it all. And as we grow, and I'm not old by any means, but I'm also not young. I've seen a lot. I've had a few different career choices and paths in my life, and also personally, with my home life, that also changed my perspective on how to approach work. So my wife, she is doing really well, and she's been diagnosed with MS for almost 10, 12 years out of the 15 years we've been together. She has it, she does not have it very progressive. We caught it early. She does really, really well. We have no really outward lying effects. But when you get married and you're later in life and you don't think you're going to get married, and then you get married, and then you don't want to buy a house, you don't want to have kids, and you start doing these things, and then something like that happens, it kind of really puts a lot of things in perspective. So what it allowed me to do is say, it's not all about the work. It's not about having a Lambo. It's not, and I always was about that. I want a mansion. I want the yacht. I'm going to be a playboy. I'm never getting, that's a joke. There's no satisfaction in life, true satisfaction in life with that. So moving forward to what you're saying is, that's how I approach my work. I'm blessed to be here to provide for my wife and my daughters. And if you're willing to listen to me, man, I'm privileged that someone is willing to give me a chance. Like, just listen to me talk. I got a lot to say, and if you're willing to listen, that's, to me, huge. So saying that about picking up the phone any time of the day, Saturday. Yes, but there's the balance. My family is first, and there's balance, but they know we must sacrifice to then achieve that next goal that we want. We do want nice things. It may not be a Lambo, and it may be a 10-acre farm where we can move one day and have animals. Like, it may be something different, but that's always changing, So that's kind of where I come from as far as an entrepreneur. Like, that's where it gives me my energy, my drive comes from those experiences in life, and I don't want someone to tell me what I have to do. I want them to tell me this is what I should be doing, and let me get to that point. And because Chase is also a good friend of mine, and also, as my boss and president of our company, he is a great employer in that sense, that he knows what he's good at, and he knows what I'm good at. And we've done a lot of work together, not only in this business venture, but in the past and others. And he knows what our office manager Brianna is good at, and he lets her take that and run with it, because we all can't be good at everything. We have to be good at what we're passionate about, and then that'll translate to the dollars, to the material things coming to you. And I know you talk about this, and I hear you, and again, this is why I think we vibe well. We kind of got that same thing, the mentality going. I think anyone who's successful has that mentality, that drive. You have to be confident but humble, so it's a little bit of both. You can't be one, or you got to be both. You got to be confident, go-getter, and I'm going to crush the next person, but you don't have to be mean about it.
Yeah.
You also don't have to be a pushover, right? Don't get walked on. There's a fine line there.
No, there is a fine line. And going back to what you said, to have a business that is successful, you need people that understand, the end goal, and understand what you guys want to provide as in the customer service world, and who has the role of what. And being an entrepreneur, you don't have to deal with all, let's say, of the bombs that go off. So that's something great, and at the end of the day, it won't hurt your pocket, so to speak. So, but what I love about you as a character, as a person working somewhere, is that you give it 100%, and you're not paying attention to all the small talk and all the bogus things that other people are worried about. You're just 100%. Let's go. I'm a part of this team. I'm obligated to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. But the good thing is you get to, let's say, technically clock out, which is what's great about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I know people that are entrepreneurs that businesses would not be where they were if it wasn't for them being an entrepreneur. Like right here, I'm sitting next to Eddie. Eddie is a monster. You get me? That if it wasn't for him joining a team that now we have the plant movement that we're creating, which is this right here we're doing as partners, but he jumped on as an entrepreneur, bringing key valuables to the table to make everything just go. And that's what businesses need. And you don't have to, you don't have to sit there and try to be, think of a business strategy to build a business from scratch. You don't have to deal with that. And I'm asking you this because I know there's other people out there that are working at specific places, and they might feel a certain way. negative towards the situation or whatever. And some people are greedy. They feel like they want more and all this type of stuff. And I don't get that vibe from you at all. And I want people to understand that you have to give it your all every day because you never know who's watching. Today's John might be selling lights at Green Foundry. Tomorrow it might become a franchise. And now John is part of that. And now he gets to be an owner of a franchise that there's 1,000 stores nationwide. They get a 10% ROI on everything. You don't know. That's why you got to give it your all. You
That's
never
right.
know. Like I
That's
would love
right.
to hire
You're
you.
right.
I'm gonna steal you from the
so it's funny. But you're right. You're right. You don't know who's looking. You're right. You're absolutely right, man. You don't know who's looking. You don't know where that next connection is going to come from. Who's watching? You should always do what you can. And I don't say to not be who you are. If that's not who you are, then that's not who you are. But if you want to be successful and there's a lot of people that are calling themselves gurus out there, and a guru this and guru is nothing. All it is someone who's passionate about a specific topic and is willing to share it, and he does it well. They are good storytellers. That's what a guru really is. So I don't ever say that I'm this or that, but I'm just a guy. I want to do certain things in my life. I want to achieve certain goals. I want to be respected when I look at myself in the mirror. My parents, like I said, are immigrants. My dad, he came here with nothing, not even speaking the language, from Greece, to putting 2 kids through college, having, weddings for 2 daughters, living the American dream. And that's another big part of what drives me is I see what's going on in this country, both as you said, people that want it and they're better and they don't want to be entrepreneurs, or the opposite of those that don't even want to work. They're just lazy. And it really aggravates me in the sense that it hurts, not aggravates. That's not the right word. It hurts me to see that because we're very blessed. There's so many worse things, do something about it. The mailman, he's become a confidant for, I guess, me for him. And when I pick up my mail, he's always talking to me. He's a younger fella. Mm-hmm. And, he's always complaining, like you're saying, and then they don't pay me enough. They work too much. There's not enough mailboxes. And I'm like, Ryan, stop doing that. You're going to just make it negative for your brain and all that. It just makes it worse. I'm like, if you don't like what you're doing, just get up and quit. It's going to cost you less stress not having the job than having the job. Otherwise, shut up, put your big boy pants on and say, what am I doing to get to the next level? Not, this is what I deserve, give it to me, and then I'll do extra. Don't put your hand out first and then say, okay, I'll do it after. No, do it first. Who's watching? They'll see it. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow. In 2 years, if Green Foundry collapses, or if my boss wakes up and lets me go, I made a good impression on Willie, and he says, you know what? This guy can run my facility better than anybody. I'm willing to give him 100K salary. Willie, I'm coming to Florida. You don't know. So just do your best, really from the heart, kind of try to act that way.
Oh, and those are great pins that you put on it. And I love that, putting your 100% in every day is what will allow you to do that. And just like the mailman, it's very true. Just quit, and get into something that you like. There's just, it's tough though, for people that are starting out, people that are young, they haven't really grasped on to, let's say, a niche or an industry or a service or anything that they found yet that they love, that they're passionate about. So it's harder for maybe for the younger generations because they're still trying to figure out what they're doing in life or where they are. Transitioning from a kid to an adult, that could be a little messed up for somebody, But I know that if you show 100% every day, that great things will only happen. It's the energy. You're on a wavelength of a high energy, of pumped. You're an honest person. You do things by the book, how things are supposed to be. You go above and beyond, regardless of where you're at. Somebody will always see it, and there's always another opportunity. So if you guys are stuck in something that you don't like, jump out of it. Try to find a boss that is engaged, that loves what they do, that is passionate about it, lets you have some reins, and gives you that atmosphere that allows you to have that positive energy too. Because a lot of people, I feel like they're in just a negative world where you're in an office space, there's four people talking crap about each other. The boss does nothing but scream at you when he sees you. It's like, how are you going to have a positive day? How are you going to be able to scale? Do you want to answer the phone, talk to somebody, and put on a chippy face? I call them masks. You got to have
Yeah, yeah.
masks. People have all different types of masks. And it's true. It starts with where you're at. And that's what your boss has allowed you to do. And I commend your boss for that. Building something, bringing you on as part of the team and giving you leeway, letting you do what you're good at, not being over you, not hovering over you, and allowing you to just make deals. Like, I'm sure you've made deals without even calling them, and you've made things happen. And
All
then
the
you call them and tell
time.
them, man,
All
I
the
got
time.
this
Oh,
and
he
there and here and here, and I was able to pull it off.
yeah.
I didn't have to call you, man. You know, that's
No, and see, that's the
that's what
thing
everybody
though.
needs.
And that's the thing though. So I can, but I don't. And he knows that because I know how things work. So like I have it set up. We're all there, bases loaded, the home run hitter's up. We're ready to go. And I just need the check mark from him and we're good. So and he knows my decision making because again, we've worked together. And it's just as, just if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to have that mentality. You have to have that mentality. And I commend him for having that mentality because I've had a lot of different jobs. Going back to what you were saying about the younger generation and trying to figure it out. I'm 43. I've been at this career about 5.5, 6 years, this field, this career, but I've been involved in the industry on and off my whole life, like I said, from my dad. But I started with human resources for a healthcare company. I did human resources for a supermarket, very large supermarket chain. I worked as a manager at a restaurant for my uncle's diner for almost 15 years.
Wow.
So, I've tried a lot of different things. I ran the landscape design build company for 2 years, and that's where I found my passion for this. So it took me some time. It took me some different jobs to kind of figure it out. Some were temp jobs, some were permanent, salary. And I always was, just trying to learn more and take that next skill set to whatever it was. At the first job, I learned how to, at the diner when I was in high school, I learned how to speak Spanish in the kitchen. Great. Because then when I went to the landscape company, that helped me with the workers from Costa Rica, from Mexico, from Guatemala. That helped me there. When I went to the healthcare company, the sales aspect of like selling a commercial job, I had to learn how to talk to more of a corporate environment. So it's more professional, sit down reports. So always growing. None of that stuff really had that fire for me, but I still took something out of it because you got to take pride in that. Anything you do, you got to take pride in, even if it's just, making your bed in the morning, getting yourself dressed, shaving, whatever you're doing, that task, take pride in that small task. It will amount to a larger good for you.
100%. You answered a question that I was going to ask you, but you answered it. It was what do you have to say to the younger people in the industry and or people that are up and coming? So what I see with you, John, sitting on the other side of the screen, is so much value, and also God puts you in places that to work for Him in a way, and give back. And you're so much more than just a guy that can get you light fixtures and get you fire fixtures or anything like that, because you can actually mentor people and help and have a conversation. Like you said, you've met up the guys here in Miami more based off of just a friendship, not for trying to hustle lights or hustle fire fixtures, you know, and,
No.
and and it screams off you, it radiates off you. I feel like more people need to. I hope the people that listen, you guys that are listening or watching, take something from it, because look at John has just opened up and talked about his personal life, his history, on how he got to where he is today, and how he took something from everywhere. Everything's been positive. The guy hasn't said one thing negative, and that radiates off of him. So when if you're looking for someone, if you're looking for lights or fire fixtures, I don't know why you would go back to Home Depot or Lowe's unless you need it right now. But if you can wait 4 or 5 days, this guy can slap something together for you, have it shipped directly to
2 days, two days.
and have it shipped directly to the client's house, directly to the job site, And now you don't have to be lugging around stuff. It gets dropped off right there. And he's a third party, so it's not like the homeowner's going to reach out and call him to get the lights and backstab.
They can't.
They can't.
No, they can't. And actually, I want to point that out. I actually protect the contractors. One of the big things about us from the beginning, with the brands we sell, they're all price protected. Okay. We don't like dealing with brands that are not price protected, because that's not fair to me or to the installer, because everyone is a Google person. They're going to Google it and I can get it this but that's not what the value is. We should value our industry and say we're more than just the gardener, right? We're not just a gardener. We're these outdoor living specialists. Even if you're just cutting grass and pruning palms, you're a specialist at cutting that zoysia, that Bermuda, that king palm, whatever so you're a specialist. Get paid for that. You shouldn't be underpaid. Like I said, I seen my dad come here with no education as an immigrant working and deserved more for what his skill level was, but couldn't translate that. So I'm on the side of the installer in that sense. So price protection is important for me. So they try to Google pricing. They're not going to find like to like when you're dealing with me. So like I protect you in that sense, so the homeowner.
You're wholesale too. So guys, if you reach out to him, you're not going to get priced on the retail side like if you go to Home Depot. You're going to get pricing to flip this stuff. So not only can you make money by installing the lights, you can make money on the product, because now you're reselling it to the homeowner. So you can go and get a light from John that's $9, like he said, and you can go and Google it, and you can see that Home Depot sells the light for $23.99. So now you can charge $23.99 plus installation. Yeah. So I don't understand why anybody wouldn't call you, John. I'm about to open a hardscape company tomorrow.
I'm waiting for somebody to tell me that, and then I can. I'd be the permanent sales rep. I'm waiting for it. Dude, I would love it, man.
Oh man, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. You get me? And when there's great minds together, that's when magic happens. And if there's no money to make it happen, you'll find it. If you're manifesting it, someone will jump on that has big pockets.
I appreciate that.
There's a lot of opportunity. I see nothing but value from you, John. We're going to put all of John's stuff in the bio down below. All right. If you guys are into any of this, any of the lights, the fixtures, the fire fixtures, anything like that, I recommend you guys reach out to John with with something that you need, so he can shoot you back an estimate. I've done that back and forth with him just to see how the process was, and it went smooth. We've actually trying to connect you with a couple heavy hitters over here in Miami, get that product.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, so we can go out there and check it out and see how beautiful everything looks. But guys, John is the man when it comes to exterior lighting or anything. Like you said, we're going to put all your stuff down on the bio below. Your website's going to be there, all your information. Guys, if you're looking for anyone like this, that one-on-one person that can take care of that whole section basically for you, where you're just marketing up and passing it to the client, John is the man.
Thanks a lot, Willie. Appreciate your time. I really appreciate you promoting me like that. And I know you wouldn't do that if you didn't think there was value there. From our previous conversations over the last, 6-7 months that we've been going back and forth. Again, the way our friendship, I believe now, I can call it a friendship, started was via Instagram. It was just, 100%. I think if I remember, I said, man, what is that flower? It's beautiful. And you said, oh, flowers in Florida? And that's kind of what just started it. And, yeah, man. I mean, I'm just a regular guy. I really am. Like, I'm here to help if I can. If not, great. I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but at least give us a shot. We're here to help. If it's not me, it's my boss. If you think you're above the entry level and you're more of an advanced and you need something for a larger scale, my boss is very versed in that as well as I am. But you're looking for something like that, we can handle it. We've worked on, Marriott hotels. We've worked on college campuses. So it's not just your residential backyards. Give it a shot. I think lighting, I would leave this. If I can, I would leave this. If you're on the fence about anything that I provide, lighting should be the first thing you should add to your business model. If you're looking to add a revenue stream, you can potentially increase your bottom line profit by 40% on lighting. There can be even more, but most lighting can be, 40% profit if done properly. And in Florida, it is one of the epicenters of outdoor low voltage lighting. There in Arizona is the most popular states for that product. So you're just leaving money on the table, and it's very simple to do. So I would leave that for you guys.
40%. Count me in. Count me in. Hey, thank you so much, John, man. I love you. God bless you and your family. Tell your wife that we said hello.
Thank you.
Right, dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to everybody that tuned in. I hope you guys got value from this episode. I know John brought a lot of value today. So stay tuned. We're going to continue bringing professionals on. We're going to continue bringing that fire. We want to grow together. Regardless of what's going on around the world, we're going to grow, baby. All right? God bless you. Stay safe, and you'll see us on the next one. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to this edition of The Plant Movement. Willie and Eddie invite you to connect with them on Instagram at both The Plant Movement Podcast and A's Ornamental Nursery. Those links are in the show description. Please leave us a well-worded 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help others find the show. And remember to tap the follow button so that you'll be notified when the next edition of The Plant Movement is available.